Flowers. Today I'm going to be doing the tutorial for our June kit, which has the flower cutout sign. And I'm going to be using one of the napkins from this month's kit. And this is Blessed Are Those Who Hear the Word of God and Obey It. It just had a really cute circular floral pattern that I thought would look nice on the sign. So I'm going to be using that today to show how to do the decoupage on that. And I just have some rope and ribbon scraps that I just had in my craft collection. I just grabbed a whole bunch of neutral colors. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with that. And I've got my glue gun today. I just have my Mod Podge. I've got some white acrylic paint because I am going to prime the cutout first. You don't have to do this if you like a more translucent background where you can see the wood through. You can. When you do that, sometimes the words don't pop as much because this has kind of a gold tone writing on it. I'm not sure how much that will pop through once we peel all the layers off. So I'm going to give it a white background to kind of help those words come through a little bit more. So that's when I'm going to be doing the priming. And then obviously I've got my brushes. I do have a really beat up wood sanding block today. It is time to get a new one. I keep forgetting. I've got my water for my brushes. I've got my mats, my surface savers to protect my countertops here because I am in the kitchen today. A little bit better lighting, and I thought a change of a background would be nice. My internet sucks in the back room, so I decided to move it out here. And then I also have just a Ziploc bag. This is what I'm going to use to help smooth that out so my words don't get wrinkled. Got some scissors, and I think that's about it. So I'm going to get started by just prepping. I got some twine stuck to that because this is non-stick or non-slip. It gets a little sticky, which is good for beads and stuff not rolling off, but it's not so good if you have little thread there sticking to it. So I'm just gonna prep the block. I'm just gonna put some of this acrylic paint on it. You could use chalk paint, whatever you have. My chalk paint, I noticed the last time I had it out, it's getting a little dry. I'm down to the bottom of the barrel, so I need to order some new paint, and I just haven't got around to it. So I'm just gonna quickly go over this for the sake of time. It doesn't need to be perfect because I am putting the napkin over it. So I'm just gonna kind of quickly go over this with my acrylic paint. And you'll notice I'm kind of getting it on the mat. What is nice is because I have the surface saver, this just washes off. So when I get done here, I'll just be able to take this in the sink with my microfiber cloth and some soap, and I'll just be able to wash this right off, and the next time you see it, it'll look brand new. So I love that about this. Because also I'm kind of a little OCD about, I used to use my Fisker one, and I also use the mat to take pictures sometimes. And I don't like it when it gets messy. Like once it gets messy, for some reason it stresses me out when it has all the colors on it. I'm gonna grab a rag. So I like it better when it's clean. I don't know. It's distracting to me for some reason. The irony, right? Of being a crafter. Okay, so I'm gonna get the napkin ready while that's drying there. And I'm just gonna cut out, because we custom print our napkins here in the US, we're only able to print the front side of the napkin. We're not able to print all 4 sides. And that is because we print here in the US. If we were to print all 4 sides of the napkins here in the US, the cost would be absolutely ridiculous and y'all wouldn't wanna pay it. So to keep costs down and to still be able to print here in the US, we just print the fronts. And so it is unfortunate that we can't do all 4 sides, but it's our way to be able to still print here in the US and keep costs affordable. So that's the way we're able to get our designs out to everybody. So that's how we do it. But that is why there's only the one print on the napkin. and we don't have to sacrifice quality, which is huge to us, especially because we're using them for crafting. We want the napkin to be able to, we want the colors to pop, we want the quality there so you can work with them and they don't tear. But we're just peeling this very top layer, and you'll know when you have it when that it's almost like translucent. Then you'll know you'll have it, and this piece will be a little bit thicker, and so you'll know that you have it. These napkins are 3-ply napkins. They're basically wedding quality napkins because that's pretty much who prints for us. And then also they are food safe as well. We've had quite a few people that have actually purchased our napkins for their events, for like women's ministry events and those types of things. So we do have people purchasing for those types of things as well. All right, so I'm just kind of seeing where I want to have my flowers show up here. All right, so I'm going to do my half and half method here. So I'm going to go through and make sure I get all my little Mod Podge goodies off here. But I'm just going to put a thin layer of Mod Podge down on half of it. And you want to make sure that you do work all the way to the edges. Nice even strokes. Make sure that you have it centered to where you want it. And then you're just gonna feather, stroke, and layer it out. And so now we're gonna just do the same thing to the other side. We're just gonna put a little bit of the Mod Podge and then lightly get that spread out. A little bit too much. If you get any extra, you can just wipe it off on your extra napkin. And you're good to go. All right, then light feather strokes from the inside. You're working from the inside out. Okay, and then we're gonna take our plastic that we had, and we're gonna use this to smooth out any of the bubbles. And we use the plastic because it is gonna make it so that we can press without sticking to the actual paper. So we work from the inside out still, and then just make sure you peel up. Sometimes too, if it starts to stick, I just drag it gently, and that works as well. But any place that you have like bubbles that you don't like, again, if it feels like it's starting to stick, you can just drag it, and that'll help too. You don't want to overwork it, so don't get obsessive about it. I constantly have to fight that. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. So, just kidding, I see a bubble on the edge. Since it's the edge, I don't wanna get too crazy about it. But you don't wanna overwork it. It doesn't need to be perfect. And you definitely don't wanna try and use your fingers, because if the ink is, or if the Mod Podge is still wet and you're working it, especially with your fingers, you can't smear the ink because the ink will get wet. You can tear the paper. If it's not dry and you're touching it, you can tear the paper. It does get a little bit temperamental. So really try and be careful, and then work quickly on this part. And then also, I don't know if this actually might be small enough. We also, while it's wet, from the front of the design, you want to poke your hole through where you're gonna string it. And you want to do it from the front so that as it tears, it's pushing those torn pieces to the back so that you have a nice clean hole. And then we're gonna just let that set. And I want that to dry a little bit while we're working on whatever the heck it is I'm gonna make for this embellishment that I don't even know. I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna make something. That's what we do, right? But I just wanna kind of show you without messing with it too much, but this is kind of what we've ended up with here. I think my top's kind of dry. So this is what I've got. sticking a little bit on the bottom from the back, but this is what I have right here so far. So you can kind of see there is a teeny bit of wrinkling going on. That's fine. The paper is going to shrink up a little bit as it dries, but for 99% of the part, I'm happy with it. It's not going to be 100% like a canvas, but that's pretty good for me. So now I'd like to make some kind of bowish type thing at the top. I'm going to do, to hang it, I am just going to do a loop. I'm just going to tie the cord that it comes with into like one of these, and I'm just going to loop it through, and that's going to be what's going to hang it. So once it's all dry and done, that's going to be my hanging thing. But I want to do some kind of like bow thing. I didn't have any oranges or pastels. I only had naturals. I need to get more ribbon. I had naturals. I had a ton of leopard print. I don't know what that was all about. Like a ton. If anyone needs any leopard print, please reach out. And I have blacks and whites because I packaged the tissue paper in the black and white print. And then I have a bunch of 4th of July. I should throw the 4th of July in the kits because 4th of July is coming up, and for some reason I have a bunch. I probably should have done red, white, and blue napkins. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking it's like summer and spring. I need to get on it next year and be better about the holiday colors. Each year, you guys, I get a little bit better each year. All right, so I'm just trying to figure out how big this bow thing needs to be. And so I'm just wrapping. This is all I know how to make a bow thing. So I'm just wrapping around. I just know how to layer stuff, different sizes of stuff. I saw this on a tutorial one time. It's like a scrappy bow. So you just make like all these loops of different sizes and you just layer them. So this is what I'm doing. Just keep wrapping it around. All right, so I got that. My son has stolen all my scissors again. And my good ones. I need to go buy new scissors. So these are my kitchen, well, one of my kitchen shears that are sharper than my crafting shears that I could find. So I need to go buy some new crafting shears, and I need to hide them somewhere. All right, so I'm just tying them in a knot here. Tying my little stack in a knot. I haven't made one of these in a minute. Hopefully it turns out. All right, and then all I have to do is just cut through this end, and then I cut through the other end, and then you just end up with this little scrappy looking bow thing. Just kind of looks like that, and then I'm going to cut these things so they're not weirdly longer than everything else. That thing's kind of weirdly longer, so I'm going to cut that. Do you ever like, this is how I feel like when you cut your bangs and it goes wrong, where you're like, oh, that piece is weirdly longer than everywhere else, and you cut it a little bit, and then you're like, oh, that piece is weirdly longer than, and then you end up with like, burp, 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 burp. Just me? I don't know. Okay, so this is what I got. Whoa, it's trying to escape. All right, so I got some little fuzzy scrappy thing that looks like that. And that's gonna be cute. Okay, I like it. I might put a little, I'll probably put like a little something right here in the middle because I feel like it is missing something. But I don't want to leave you hanging, so I'm not gonna, I'll probably add that after when I take the picture. And so what I'm gonna do now is finish up the edges of here to do the edges. So how I like to do the edges is with my raggedy crafting block here that has seen better days. This is pretty dry now. I can touch it, but let's get nervous. I have jacked it up before where it wasn't quite dry and I'm ripping onto it, and then I rip the words, and then I can't take the picture afterwards and I have to do a whole nother one when I get done with the video. So just to be safe. So when you're doing the sanding block edges like this, you want to sand down and away from you because we want the nice edge on the front where everyone can see, because that's the part that people are going to be seeing. And you just work your way around. And if your block is too chubby to get in these edges, pieces of my block are flying, you can actually get a fingernail file and get in there to get these little corners in here if your block is too chubby, which is what I may have to do when I get to the end here to get some finer edges. And this really doesn't take a lot of pressure, so to get in here and get these done. Alright, so I'm just gonna go around. And I'll clean this up off camera. I just want to kind of get the edges for you to see. And then I'll put that rest on and then I'll finish it off camera. Again, just working my way around. And you see it just comes right off. Very easy. All right, so that comes right off. I'm gonna do the loop. Next, I'm gonna put my knot through. How do we do this? Okay. All right, so I just looped it through. So I have the part to hang it with. And then I'm going to attach my bow. My knot was coming undone, so I'm just gonna knot it the other way. All right, so I'm just gonna blob my glue on here. All right, so there you go. So like I said, before I take the picture, I'm probably gonna add something right here just because I don't like I usually like to cover up like the little spot where the knot shows. And I've got some glue strings, but I'll clean it up a little bit and take the final picture. But that is just an idea of one of the ways that you can do the little flower sign. And I'll clean up the edges, but there's just one example of what you can do with this nuts kit. So again, thank you for watching the tutorial. I'd love to see what you make with any of our napkins. And don't forget, if you do create anything with our napkins or any one of our kits and you share on social, tag us at Christian Craft Paper. And if you're not already in our Facebook group, our crafting community, at Christian Craftaholic community on Facebook, we would love to have you there as well so we can connect. So thank you for watching, and until next time, happy crafting!